Hello, everybody, and welcome into Rock Solid Sports, sponsored by Fieldhouse Social on 2525 University Commons Way. Pleasure to be with you right here on this Monday night. Expectations are high on Rocky Top. Move-in day was yesterday. There's a lot of people chilling up here on Rocky Top, and we're all excited to talk some Tennessee football later tonight, some NFL preseason, some MLB, and more. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys to go on down to Fieldhouse Social, get you some nice drinks, get you some nice food, enjoy the TVs, enjoy the nice and comfy chairs, and listen to us right here on Rock Solid Sports. All right. So let's get into it. I got Joseph with me tonight. I got Riley, and I got Bryson. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing pretty good tonight. How about yourself?
I'm solid, man. I'm glad to be back. It feels so good. It's like I get lost over the summer, you know? Just get out of the loop, and now you're back, and nothing's better.
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, Riley, I'm covering you on the stream.
Dude, this is whack.
We're
all four in the same room.
We're all four. This is not usually how we do things here at Rock Solid, but some technical difficulties, and we all get to sit within 30 feet or 3 feet of each other. Oh, there's Riley.
Yeah.
Riley, how was your summer? You're finally back on a show.
Yeah, I know it's been a while. Some computer issues early on. I got to get on one not too long ago, but I've been kind of busy, and you know, I finally got back up here in Knoxville, and you know, excited to be back, excited to get back on the show. It's gonna be a great time, you know.
Yeah, and everybody, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are we that Tennessee football is 17 days around the corner? Kickoff in less than 3 weeks. Can you guys believe it?
Yeah, I'm definitely like 9-10 in terms of excitement level. I'm very excited for what's coming this season.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the hype, we've talked about it all summer. The hype that's been building off this team is something that we haven't seen with the Tennessee football team since probably the second year of Josh Dobbs.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's been a pretty long time since we've seen hype around this football team, and Josh Heupel has done a fabulous job building that hype around his program, especially with all the recruits. I think that's kind of built the most part in. But first, like I've said all summer, we got to get through this season.
Yeah, and I think everyone's catching on to the hype train, if you will, of Tennessee with Josh Heupel in year 2. Of course, Hendon Hooker as well. Did you guys see Roman Harper pick Tennessee to beat Georgia? 10-2, I believe. Just live on TV. Just stuff like this just keeps happening week after week as the season nears.
Yeah, that may be a stretch.
Oh, it is a stretch.
But it does show the hype that is around this team, and I think it's real.
So why is it real?
Well, you look what the Vols put on the field last year with the roster they had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine that in Josh Heupel's first year as head coach with only, what do you only have? 6-7 months of preparation. He got hired at the
least amount of players on the roster
in the SEC. In February. Had to start the season in September. So
most players left to the transfer portal.
Most players left. Fewest numbers on the roster. Coming off a scandal.
Yeah. I mean, you name it. Tennessee was dealt it last year.
And second year in the system too. Second year in the Josh Heupel system. It's going to be a lot better, I think. Guys that have already ran those plays for a year and stuff like that instead of just next season.
Oh, of course. And you think about how efficient Hendon Hooker was last year. I mean, 31 touchdowns and 3 picks, and he didn't even start the season as the starter. He'd come in and he was just lights out. And, he was obviously a transfer, wasn't familiar with the Heupel system, learned it really quickly. And they did big things, I think, for what the expectations were in 2021. And who knows what they can do this year, which brings me to our first segment here. We're going to talk a little bit about UT football, of course, and we're each going to name a position group we're intrigued to watch this season and one we are concerned about. So I'm going to kick it over to Joseph first. I'll go last. I'll let y'all three go first. Joseph, let's start it off. Give me a position group you're intrigued about watching and one you're concerned about.
All right. I think a lot of people are going to be intrigued by this position group, and not only because of the personnel they have within the group, but because of who they have coaching it, and that's going to be the defensive line. And it's going to be led by none other than Byron Young on the edge. And this group has shown a lot of They showed a lot of flashes last year of being really good. They have the talent. I know Elijah Simmons is a guy who's, he's still young. He hasn't really had much playing time, but the playing time he did have last year was impactful. And it's really hard with that group in Josh Heupel's offense because you're always on the field and you have to go 100% against SEC offensive lines almost every game. But for some reason, I really feel like this year, that group, that defensive line is going to eat. And they're going to have a 10 times better year than they had last year. And like I said, they're going to be led by Byron Young, who I think could be an all-SEC first-team type player at the end of the year. He could even be an All-American if he really plays to his potential. And he's going to lead that group over there on the edge.
Yeah, he's a stud. And, Tyler Barron not deciding to transfer, I think, is big.
That's another reason that's huge.
That pass rush duo is among the best in the SEC.
There's so much returning on the defensive line. I mean, you look all around the offense. Wide receivers left. DBs left. Linebackers kind of iffy because they were already thin at that last year. And then you even look on the offensive side, like I mentioned, wide receivers, some offensive line left as well. Running back has been kind of thin as well.
Yeah.
Defensive line has been the most consistent group, not named quarterback.
Right.
Because they're returning the most people, and that's why I think they're going to eat. It's going to be really impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Now, the group that I'm most concerned with, because that was your second question, I'm going to go with the group I mentioned, the running backs, because the loss of Tyon Evans, which may not be as big as it kind of seemed when it happened, but also you've had some injuries here
big one.
In the spring.
To me, I think it's being a little overshadowed. Leneath Whitehead is a really good player.
Yeah, and he was a really good as a freshman last year. Really, the freshman carried, other than Jabari Small and what he did. Outside of Jabari and the few times Tyon was in there because of whether he was not injured or not, those freshmen carried this team, or at least the running game of this team alongside Hendon Hooker. And I think the fact that you lose Tyon Evans and you lose Leneath Whitehead, that's going to hurt them a lot. Now, do I think Jabari Small, the new guy they brought from Clemson,
Lynn J. Dixon. Yeah, and he's going to be eligible.
And he'll be eligible.
Good to go
I think those are two guys that you're going to have to rely on. But it's a little concerning because they're so thin.
Well, yeah, they are thin, and there's no running back on Tennessee's roster that really jumps out.
Yeah,
there's no game changer.
It's not like an Alabama running back, like a Derrick Henry or Mark Ingram.
Tyon Evans was a game changer.
Yes,
let's face it.
I agree.
He could rip off a 92-yard touchdown.
Eric Gray, when Eric Gray was at Tennessee before he left for Oklahoma, he was a game changer. I think Jabari Small I think is great. I think he's going to have a good season.
He's fine.
I don't think he's going to be the standout guy in the Tennessee running game like Tyon Evans or an Eric Gray would have been.
Right. And there are other options. As we mentioned, Dixon's here. And then Small and Jalen Wright in year 2.
Yeah.
And, I thought he did pretty well as a freshman. And then you got 2 freshmen coming in, Dylan Sampson and Justin Williams-Thomas, both highly touted coming out of high school. Tennessee pursued them really well on the recruiting trail. I'm excited to watch those 2 cats play.
Williams-Thomas has dealt with some injuries this
but nothing too serious. He'll be fine. But
as a running back,
and then Sampson is the speedster.
So it's going to be interesting to watch. I just think it's a really youthful group, and they're going to make a lot of mistakes, especially in the passing game, which is what I'm
concerned about.
Is pass blocking and stuff for Hendon Hooker. But I'll kick it to you guys now.
Yeah, Riley, let's go.
All right, so for what I'm excited for, the position group I'm most excited for is quarterbacks. That's the one I'm most excited for. So I figured I'd go with that one. It's a bit of a boring answer because everybody knows what Hendon Hooker can do. Everybody knows that Joe Milton, if he's asked to step in, can serviceably step in at the SEC level. But Hendon Hooker is looking to be, if not the second best quarterback in the SEC behind Bryce Young at Alabama. And he's an incredible player. I'm expecting him to get better at his decision-making, that deep ball accuracy that we saw him struggle with at times last year. All those things are very coachable, and all those things I think he will improve on under Josh Heupel, especially with a full season as the starter and going into the season with the expectation of being the starter. I think we look at a Hendon Hooker that is much better than the one that we saw last year, and that's a scary thought for other SEC teams.
I think that's a big point, Riley, when you said going into the season as a starter, because I know last year there was that whole big quarterback controversy.
Yes.
So I think it took a little bit of it. You can't put all of your attention just into getting better because you're worried about somebody else kind of breathing down your neck. But this year he went into off season. He knows he's going to be the starting quarterback, and he can just work on what he needs to do to get better.
I mean, it took an injury
Right.
of Joe Milton for Hendon Hooker to even get a shot as the starter. And who knows if Hendon Hooker was a starter from the first game of the season, he might have beaten Pitt, and that's last year could have gone really different because if you win your first,
it's just a different
game,
energy.
I mean, that Pitt loss, I think turned the season negative a little bit because we were they were so close. That team was so close to winning it. And if Hendon Hooker is a starter, I think you win your first two games like really easily.
Yeah, there's no three-man competition. Hendo's, like you said, among the best in the SEC. You can rank him however you want, but he's in that group behind Bryce Young. There's a cluster of about 4 guys, and he's definitely in that, and he's in the deep mix of it. So who are you concerned about, Riley?
I'm going to go with the tight ends, kind of for the same reason as Joseph picked the running backs. They're not the deepest group, and there's no game changer there. There's nobody that sticks out there like a Cedric Tillman, like a Hendon Hooker, that you see them get on the field. They're going to make a play to change the game just about every game. With the tight ends, you don't really have anyone like that, and I don't see any of the guys there developing into that during the season. And tight end, to be fair, is less of a game-changing position. I mean, you really have a few guys in the NFL that are like that. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, people like that. But with the Vols, they're going to be experienced. So it's not a group that I think is going to be bad, but they are going to be a group that is not going to stick out in any way. And with the expectations that Tennessee has, I think that's almost a cause for concern if a group isn't sticking out, especially at the SEC level. It's a bit of a problem, but I think the tight ends will be just fine. I think the passing game would be just fine. I think the running game will be just fine with those tight ends. But that's just it. Just fine, not exceptional.
I think the biggest point you just made is the experience you're getting out of your tight end group, led by Jacob Warren.
Yeah, two seniors, and Princeton Fant.
And Princeton Fant as well. They're going to know what their job is on the field every Saturday,
right?
Which is something that not a lot of schools can say. They get out of their tight ends. The Vols might not have that flashy pass catching tight end, which
they have some bruisers and red zone targets. Yeah, especially inside.
Definitely, but you're not going to get a guy go catch and run 60 yards downfield. And just blow by somebody like a Kyle Pitts was for Florida a few years ago.
But I would say, how many of those guys are there really at that position, though?
True, exactly.
Yeah,
the Vols just don't have that standout first round talent at tight end.
True,
I don't even think they have a first 3 rounds talent at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the veteran guys are there, and I think that's gonna help them. At least for pass blocking and knowing assignments, that's going to be good for the Vols in the tight end group.
Well, speaking of standouts and veterans, Bryson, who are you excited about?
Yeah, I'm excited about the wide receivers first and foremost. The wide receiver group is going to be really nice. Mostly Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, those two are the ones I'm most excited about. I think Cedric Tillman has a chance, if he plays the way that I think he will, to be a first-round pick next year.
Dude, I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah, and I feel like he has like everything that a NFL scout would really look for. He's athletic, he's big, and I think that's going to be really the number one thing for Tim next year. Is he's just going to be bigger than everybody else, more athletic than the other guys. Hendon Hooker is going to put the ball in the right places, and I think I'm really excited to see what he does. And obviously, Jalen Hyatt is one of the fastest wide receivers I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the story of his growth this offseason, just of how he's been so open with how kind of neglectful he was to buy into Josh's system last offseason with everything going on. He's just unsure about his future at Tennessee. He stuck with it. But then this year, he's really getting it. He's staying at the facility all the time, sleeping overnight, working with Hendon, countless hours. So that's encouraging. And you talk about Hendon Hooker being among the best in his position group in the SEC. I think the same argument can be said for Cedric. I think he could easily become the best wide receiver in the SEC this year.
No question.
I think Jalen Hyatt will be what Bayless Jones was for the Vols last year.
Yeah, of course.
Except I think instead of I think he'll run more deep routes than Bayless did. Bayless did a lot of short stuff, and then after the catch,
Yeah, he's a yak guy.
I think that Jalen will get his yak attempts, but I think a lot of his damage is going to come from the deep ball, and that'll leave Cedric Tillman for like a Jawan Jennings times role and just go over the middle and just be that bruiser over the middle, which I think Cedric Tillman can both be a bruiser and a speedster.
Yeah, he's very unique and versatile. Yeah, but and we saw the deep potential against Kentucky, so it's there. Well, Bryson, who are you concerned about?
A little bit concerned about the offensive line, obviously, with losing Cade Mays, and then Cooper Mays kind of having his injury problem still. Might have a couple younger guys on the offensive line that, it's going to be hard in the SEC, mostly because you're playing against the best defensive lines in the country every week. And if you're a freshman who just got done playing high school football 6 months ago, and now you're out here asked to guard the Alabama defensive line, and that's the one thing that concerns me. But I think that they can figure it out. They do have some guys coming back, but it's just going to be iffy. It's iffy at this point. I'm not really sure what we're going to get out of the offensive line yet.
Yeah, and you got the left tackle battle going on right now. And I'm a Jeremiah Crawford fan. I like what he brings to the table, but Gerald Mincey is enormous. Have you guys seen that dude? Like, he is so...
One time, and I looked like an ant.
If I was going to line up against him, I don't care. No, thank you. Like, I don't know. Just he is so imposing on the line, and it'll be interesting to see just the snaps he plays.
Well, the thing with Josh Heupel's offense is your 1 and 2 offensive lines, the backups are going to get playing.
Yeah, because
they're going to
how
get
fast
so
how many snaps you're playing.
I mean,
well,
more. Okay,
I will say on the D line, it's more so.
More than other schools, backup offensive linemen would get playing time in regular season games that matter. I think like guys like Addison Nichols, who is a freshman, who I think is going to be really good in his career here at Tennessee or wherever he stays in college. But those guys are going to get reps because of the Heupel offense. Some injuries are going to happen. Cramps are going to happen. I know Josh Heupel plans and trains his guys to be able to play in that system at that high speed. But things happen.
Right.
And so
things happened last year.
Exactly. And I think those guys are all going to get chances. And the fact that you have backups that are arguably as good as your starters, I think that's a plus side for the Vols.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch Carvin and Darnell Wright finish their careers the right way as well. Here on Rocky Top, all right, I'll finish this segment out. So the group I'm most intrigued about is linebacker. And, you mentioned pass rush, and, it's going to be one collective group here for the Tennessee Vols. But I'm intrigued about linebacker because I think Jeremy Banks will be better. Hopefully he can keep all the personal fouls at a minimum. I think John Marie has worked with him a lot in this preseason and offseason. But I'm also intrigued about a freshman in Elijah Herring. We saw big things out of him in the spring game. Now, obviously, with the defensive touchdown he had, and he just jumps off the page, when you're watching film, jumps off the video. So, and then Aaron Beasley, I really don't think he ever found his footing last year. Like, he was fine. He was a fine member of the Tennessee defense, but he was never one that you really talked about. And I think he's grown a lot this season, and the coaches have raved about him along with Jeremy Banks. And those two with Elijah Herring, and the fourth guy I'm going to talk about is Juwan Mitchell.
Oh, yeah, who got
He
injured
could be
last
like, if you just think about Tennessee-centric here, comeback player of the year, Juwan Mitchell. Because last year was a disaster. No other way to put it.
He could have been, when he was at Texas, led the team in tackles the year before coming to Tennessee. Really smart defensive player, really smart linebacker. He came in and injuries just hurt him. And
he got a bad rap too.
He did. But he was changing to a system completely opposite of Texas. He probably wasn't used to being on the field as much. He probably didn't completely kind of like Jalen Hyatt completely buy into the offseason programs. Right. And maybe his body just wasn't ready. But I think after 1 year of doing it, seeing how it affected him, seeing the fact that, if I'm not ready, I'm going to miss time. I think he's going to, like you said, comeback player of the year potential. I think he's going to get himself ready for this year.
Well, yeah. And the talent's there. There's no denying. Yeah. It's just, can he stay healthy? Can the system work for him? And, if the shoulder's right, then full send. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break here on Rock Solid Sports. We'll come back.
Who are you concerned about?
I'm concerned. Oh, yeah, I don't like downsides of things. I don't like being negative. That's why I try to do that. But, yeah, I think we can all agree that y'all let me save the the position I'm most concerned about is the position everyone's most concerned about, and it's the secondary.
Yeah.
They're just it's kind of a mess.
They
I
lost so much.
the safeties are fine. Trey Flowers and Jalen McCullough should be fine.
It's the cornerbacks.
It's the cornerbacks that are incredibly worrying.
They lost so much in Alontae Taylor.
Yeah, and Theo Jackson.
Jackson. They lost so much.
Like on and off the field.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing because I feel like they were both leaders.
Exactly. Veteran guys who've been in this program, who've stuck through all the crap, and now you're with a bunch of young guys who haven't had much playing time in their career, haven't had a lot of success in their careers here at Tennessee or in their college careers. And, like we've said with the rest of the defense, they're coming into a really difficult place to play defense with that fast-paced offense. They're going to have to be on the field a lot, and they're going to do a lot of running.
Against some great SEC receivers.
It's going to be a challenge. I'm interested to see what Willie Martinez
has in store.
Because he's usually done a really good job getting his secondary ready for the most part. There's obviously been hiccups along the way. But Willie Martinez has done a really good job for the Vols his time here.
And you look at the cornerbacks. Let's take just a quick moment and look at them. So Warren Burrell was started last year. You figure he'll start. Now, it wasn't all pretty. Yeah. But, he has experience.
He's your veteran guy.
Yeah. And then on the other side, Kamal Haddon, I think, would get the start. Just because, the transfer or the JUCO guy, I think he's more talented than the other, than Brandon Turnage. So I think he gets that at the spot.
Turnage had some success last year.
Well, I think Turnage could start at star.
True.
And that's up for grabs right now. With Wesley Walker, there's so many guys that can fill that role. It's not like left tackle where it's just down to 2. The secondary, who knows? It could be.
And odds are it's going to be like the linebackers and 5 different guys are going to play.
Yeah.
Because you can't keep 2 or 3 guys in there the entire game.
I mean, we saw Deshaun Rucker play a lot of snaps last year. So they're going to run through these DBs a lot.
Yeah.
You just need to see one step up, whether that's the 2 new guys, and Andre Turntine or Wesley Walker, whether that's Turnage or Haddon, or, of course, Burrell taking a leap forward. One of those guys needs to emerge as a pretty good lockdown corner for the Vols to compare to combine with those safeties for an all right secondary.
Yeah, and the positive to that is, like you said, the D-line has a lot to look forward to. A good D-line helps the secondary look better.
True.
Right.
So if the D-line is as good as Joseph thinks it'll be, hopefully the issues in the secondary, the lack of depth, the lack of experience, aren't as prevalent as we might think they might be.
Absolutely. Well, we'll all get a glimpse of it September 1st, 17 days away against Ball State right here in Neyland Stadium on Thursday night.
Yeah.
School night. It's going to be fun. It's going to be late night.
It was fun last year.
Yeah, I mean,
the second half of the day.
You like overthrows, but we won't talk about that. All right, people, we're going to take a break. We'll be on the other side talking some other sports, NFL preseason, MLB. We'll keep it right here for more on Rock Solid Sports.
WUTK thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, sponsoring and hosting the Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pregame and postgame location for UT football and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans football on the big screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the show's live broadcast from 7 to 8 Monday nights at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
90.3 The Rock proudly brings Knoxville the best in new and classic, independent, and underground music on the Indie Owl. Monday nights from 8 to 10, hosted by former award-winning alumni from the WUTK Music Department and sponsored by Magnolia Records, 1515 North Central Avenue in Knoxville, and the Tomato Head Restaurant on Market Square and in the Gallery Shopping Center, spinning cutting-edge music from around the world that pushes musical boundaries like noise pop, math rock, slowcore, shoegaze, garage rock, chamber pop, chillwave, and more. The Indie Owl brings you hard-to-find music from the artists that make it to the listeners who love it. The Indie Owl also provides independent artist news and chances to win Tomato Head and Magnolia Records gift cards. Tune in to Knoxville's true independent radio. The Indie Owl, Monday nights at 8, only on 98.3 The Rock, always bringing Knoxville new music first.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
90.3 The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department for their support. Season tickets for the 2022 UT Volunteers football season are on sale now. The next phase of Neyland Stadium renovations will be ready for the new season with home games against Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, and more. Info at allballs.com. A link is at WUTKradio.com. 90.3 The Rock wishes Coach Heupel and the football Balls good luck this season on the gridiron.
The Rock thanks the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. The 2022-23 home ice season from October through April includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets are at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-PUCK. Link is available at WTKradio.com. And Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, go Ice Bears.
The Rock thanks the Hill Bar and Grill for their support. The Hill on Forest Avenue is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill has a variety of appetizers and a full menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. The Hill is our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor and home of Friday's Rock Solid Sports. On Instagram at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2022 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smokies Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports will cover Smokies baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com, and a link is at WUTKradio.com.
All right, everybody, we're back here on 90.3 Rock Solid Sports. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic Monday evening. Let's get this week started off right. And I got my guy Joseph with me. Of course, Riley and Bryson as well, all four in the same room, as we said earlier. New scenery here for tonight's Rock Solid Sports. Do want to remind you guys that we are sponsored by Fieldhouse Social on 2525 University Commons Way.
Way to go, Jack.
Thank you. I said the address correct this time.
Yeah, but you said 2020 the first time.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I said it correct this time. We're learning.
We high five for those of you not listening to the stream.
Okay. And also, this is my first time hosting. I didn't even mention that.
Oh, is it really?
Yes.
I thought you've done this before, so I asked you to do it.
Congratulations, Jack. Let's go.
I did not know this is Jack's first time. All right.
Yeah, I sent the rundown in a voice memo that was a minute and 20 seconds long.
I did.
Real professional. All right. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Fieldhouse Social. They got some awesome food.
And the TV wall.
The TV wall and the comfy chairs and the bar. Dude, let's go after the show. I want to do it. But
dude,
first,
meatball subs too. I mean,
yeah.
on now.
All right. Well, you know where the Rock Solid crew will be. Come say hi.
All right. Well, I know. We'll have some fun. You know, we all like each other, but two people who might not like each other anymore. At
least right now.
Right. Yeah. Right now is John Calipari, Mark Stoops over at Kentucky. Some dysfunction going on in Lexington, guys. Let's kick it off with this quote from the Kentucky basketball coach, John Calipari. Quote, "This is a basketball school. Alabama's a football school, and so is Georgia. No disrespect to our football team. I hope they win 10 games and go to bowls, but this is a basketball school." He said that quote, talking about how he wants his practice facilities to, be better. But then Mark Stoops took a little offense to that. He started making things spicy when he quote tweeted this quote that was reported, and he said, "Basketball school? ? I thought we competed in the SEC. Hashtag 4 straight postseason wins." Mic drop of the century, guys. What we think?
No,
I love it.
My favorite thing about this is the reactions from everyone else outside of Kentucky. First off, before we even get into the Tennessee reactions, let's start with St. Peter's.
Yes.
Did you see St. Peter's quote on it? They said, "I don't think y'all are a basketball school." Because if you guys remember, Kentucky lost to St. Peter's in the opening round back in March Madness this year, which Jack and I were both at. We both got to watch live in person. We got to hear John Calipari's words on it. And I'm going to be honest, St. Peter's with a W on the internet over the weekend.
St. Peter's is going to.
They're going to use
they're
that
just goated forever.
They're in history.
They were already
History.
goated, and now they're
history. But
St. Peter's fans are a real treat too.
But that's not the only reactions. I mean, we have some Tennessee Vols who got in on the fun as well.
Yes, so let's get into that. Josiah Jordan James, resident, all things Tennessee guy here at Rocky Top, of course, plays for the basketball team, said, "Yikes!" with 5 laugh emojis. We love each other on this side. 2 orange hearts. Everybody eats. Hashtag Vol Nation. Hashtag everything school. And then Danny White interacted with that tweet saying he couldn't agree more with Josiah. So you're seeing the love from Tennessee here with what Josiah said. And I think we cover things. We see what Rick Barnes has said about Heupel. We see what Heupel said about Barnes. We see what Tony said about everybody. Tony loves this athletic department.
Tony just loves every coach.
Yeah, and we see Kelly and Josh giving each other hard times on that Big Orange Caravan they did. So I think everyone has a really good relationship amongst the coaches here at UT. Obviously, we've got a new soccer coach and stuff, but the 4 major sports especially.
Hey, I wouldn't say Joe Kurt is new.
Well, no. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying,
but he's been here, so I mean, he gets to experience just as much love as Penske did. But
like, it's clear Kentucky has some dysfunction. I mean,
it's hilarious.
This is so funny. Who's okay? Yes, I know what Calipari said, and it was bad. But Stoops took this to another level. Like, he's just partly to blame for this blowing up in their face.
Okay. Well, this is what I would say though. If you're the football coach and the other coaches out here saying it's a basketball school, I wouldn't take that either.
But you're gonna publicly blast it on Twitter like this?
I mean, maybe
to be
he
fair,
didn't have to publicly blast.
Yes, that's not the way to go.
He didn't have to. But it is also funny.
The football team had more success than the basketball team last year.
Well, yeah, of course. Last time I checked, Kentucky football.
But Kentucky basketball has more success historically and under the.
However, we're all missing the big point. John Calipari should not be putting down his own school.
Yes, I know.
In order to advance his own team.
Okay,
that is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, now look, he may not have meant it like that, but that's how it came out. And guess what?
True.
That's how the internet took it. That's how obviously the football team took it. And now you have this whole mess in the athletic department because now the athletic director has to, basically settle a fight between your two biggest entities in football and basketball. Especially with,
a mess.
I mean, it's a complete mess, and you got to blame both these coaches. They've handled this poorly. Mark Stoops should not have done it on Twitter publicly. He should have gone into Calipari's office and talked to Calipari himself, man to man, Kentucky guy to Kentucky guy.
Yeah. So who do you think looks worse then? Still Calipari?
I still think Calipari looks worse because he shouldn't have said it in the first place. But Mark Stoops, you're close.
Yeah, no, I'm going with Calipari as well. Especially just because it's after they lost in that first round series as well and all that.
Yeah, you got to check yourself.
And the thing that bugs me is the fact that he was using it to try and get the basketball team better stuff.
Yeah,
like he was trying to get them a new facility, and you don't put down another team. You should have reasons why. Now I'm gonna go off topic here a little bit. The baseball team at Tennessee, Tony Vitello's team, needed a new field. They needed or not a new field, but a new stadium. They needed stadium upgrades. They didn't go put down. Oh, the football team won 3 games last year. Why can't we
went to Omaha?
Yeah,
come on.
We went to Omaha.
Baseball school.
He didn't go. The basketball team hasn't won in March since, or hasn't gone past the second round in March since since this. Why can't we get their money? Like why can't we upgrade our facilities with their stuff? No, Tony Vitello went out there and proved, hey, we're the best baseball program in this country. These kids should be playing here. John Calipari said, "Oh no, our football team should. We're not a football school. Give basketball the money."
Yeah. I just don't know what's going on in Kentucky, man. Especially after I heard about Will Levis putting mayonnaise in his coffee. Like I don't know what's going on in Kentucky.
The mayonnaise in the coffee is ridiculous. I mean,
so first that, and now we got coaches beefing with each other on Twitter. It's like, what's going on in Lexington, man? I don't know what's going on, but hey, whatever's going on, it's hilarious. So I love it.
Are you guys coffee drinkers? Like honestly,
no,
not really. Definitely not with mayonnaise. I'll tell you that.
A little bit.
So none of y'all drink coffee like more than 3 times.
Consistently.
I've never
not
drank
more
coffee.
than
I don't.
3 times.
I don't drink coffee.
I will say I've switched to more of an energy drink guy the last couple of years, but I used to be a heavy coffee guy, and you don't know how disgusting that is if you drink coffee a lot. Just mayonnaise and coffee is the absolute worst thing I could ever.
Oh, I don't even have to. Just thinking about it makes me a little sick. I'm not gonna lie. And then the amount.
This is from
if you
a
haven't
guy.
seen the video, you need to look it up on Twitter.
Nope.
You can probably find it. But
Of him actually doing it.
It was
Yes.
it was
Media Days.
SEC
It's
Media
terrible.
Days. But it wasn't even just like a little bit of mayonnaise. That was
No,
the thing
it
that
was
really
like-
threw me
It
off.
was like he squeezed the bottle out. But no, this whole mess in Kentucky is hilarious.
And you know, Stoops has since had a presser, and he has no regrets. So
the AD had to get their athletic director had to go in there and after Stoops he did his presser and kind of clean it up towards the media a little more. So
I just think it's so great. Tennessee has been mocked a lot in recent history, and everyone criticizes UT for having dysfunction and all this stuff. And then you got Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher fighting like little kids at the beginning of the summer.
Yep.
And now you got Kentucky doing this. It's just funny. It's just funny.
it's been a very entertaining offseason for these football teams.
Yep.
And these coaches in the SEC, and I can't wait to see what happens when we get in season.
Yeah.
Just further shows that that's the kind of love that these coaches and these players get on the Rocky Top. The kind of love they show each other, kind of love that they're going to support each other all the way. To Kai Ziegler, or with Tony Vitello, all of that, and
Rose.
Yeah.
Yes. What sent you viral?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
but
could never forget.
and Tennessee is all about this loving thing. They back it up, and it shows because they are the everything school. Last time I checked, they performed the best out of any SEC team in all of sports last year.
Yeah, combined win percentage. I think they were first.
Yeah, 3 SEC championships too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Tennessee's got a very bright future
On the up.
ahead of them. But
All right, now speaking of bright futures, I want to talk about a little quarterback who plays in Nashville, Malik Willis.
all right, NFL preseason, it's here. It means nothing at all, Ravens fans.
That's not true.
Your
It doesn't mean
preseason,
nothing.
your
Wait, hold
preseason,
on.
your preseason streak means nothing.
You're just
Okay.
attacking Baltimore
Preseason-
fans.
Yes.
I thought we were
preseason
talking about
record
Malik Willis.
Doesn't matter. Preseason record doesn't matter.
Yeah, the
Yes.
preseason
Let's be
definitely
very clear.
matters.
The
The
Okay,
record
yes,
doesn't matter.
yes.
The record, no.
Whether you win or lose does not matter. How you
All right.
play or how specific people play, yes, it does matter. And we'll get into Malik Willis because this man came in a 6th-round pick by the time. No, not 6th-round pick. A
Riley would know.
Third.
3rd round. Was it?
What?
3rd round pick? I thought it was
No.
Oh,
Yes,
I thought-
yeah. It was third. It was
I thought
third.
it was
Yeah,
a-
86.
I didn't mean to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that.
yeah,
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 third round pick.
86.
third.
I don't know why it said 6th.
yeah,
Probably because
I thought it was
86.
4, honestly.
I thought it
Riley's
was
right.
4. Okay, so anyways, Malik Willis, who is not going to start in a regular season game this year unless Ryan Tannehill is out for this
If
season.
he starts in a regular season
I'd-
game, it means
And then
something
Logan
went wrong.
Woodside.
Something
throws
went
2
really
picks.
wrong with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, it's not going to. Did you say Logan Woodside?
Dude,
I said, and
Willis
Logan
is
Woodside
past
will
that
have.
bum on
Have
the
you,
chart.
have you heard what the coaches are saying
I don't
even
care.
after?
Did you
care.
watch how
Yes,
Logan Woodside
yes, I did.
played?
I did. I watched every
Okay,
second of it,
Malik
and then
Willis-
I listened to Mike Vrabel.
Okay,
and
listen.
Mike Vrabel's like,
Malik
he
Willis-
knows the system.
Yeah. Malik
So did
Willis.
Landry Jones in Pittsburgh.
All right. Malik Willis has a lot of things to work on. His pocket presence is very bad right now.
Awful.
His decision making is still very poor. It's still
The speed of the decision
the
making
speed
too.
of the decision making.
I feel like he
again,
needs to.
yeah.
He just needs to let the ball go.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's what Coach Vrabel
He
said
did
too.
take a couple sacks he didn't need to take.
Mhm.
However, his athleticism, his arm talent, and all of that stuff, that shiny stuff that came when Titans drafted him, he showed.
Mhm.
That touchdown run
Yes.
where he evaded a sack, was able to run across the field and then score through 2 defenders.
It's a great play.
That was an NFL level run.
Yeah,
from
Logan
Malik
Woodside
Willis.
can't do that. That's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what I was,
no.
yeah. Logan Woodside can't do
Ryan Tannehill
Well, he knows the
has
system.
shown to do that, but that's not
But he
his,
can't
that's
do it
not
like
what he did.
that.
But he can't do it like
He can't
he
do
does
it
not
like
have the
Malik did it,
athleticism that
yeah.
Malik Willis has. When Malik Willis eventually takes over for this team, the Titans have a bright future ahead. He's got a lot of catching up to do, though.
Mhm.
A lot of catching up to do.
I will say this about Malik Willis, and And one thing that was very positive for him on that night, as far as his decision making, was his decision making when he ran the ball.
Yes.
He made smart decisions with his body, not taking unnecessary hits. Whereas, a college quarterback might, lower their shoulder and try to get a couple extra yards. He was running to the sideline. He was sliding. He was getting down. He was not taking unnecessary
Smart
hits.
with his body.
Yes, very
Especially
smart.
in the preseason.
Yes,
Knowing that he's got a whole season.
and with what
know-
just happened with Zach Wilson, the
Oh, yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
Very glad to see Malik Willis is making smart decisions in the preseason, especially.
And I want to know if Riley and Bryson, if y'all back up what Joseph said when we started this Malik Willis talk, you said there's no way he can start a game unless Tannehill gets hurt.
I agree with that. I think if Tannehill is healthy, Malik Willis will not play unless I would put Malik Willis in goal line situations
I could see it.
because you get an
Yep,
extra
I can
runner
see that.
and you get an extra blocker that happens to be Derrick Henry on the outside.
It's kind of like a Trey
Imagine.
Lance deal.
Okay, imagine. So
Yes,
we all
exactly,
know
Jack.
we all know how broken that Ryan Tannehill sneak play is.
Mhm.
I mean, let's be honest. He's probably the best. He's probably the best at that little fake handoff and sneak in the NFL right now. At
That's
least over
true.
the last couple years.
Mhm.
We all know how good Derrick Henry is out of the Wildcat. How good Derrick Henry is
Yes.
out of the backfield. If you add a runner like Malik Willis, if he runs like he did on that touchdown, you add those three guys. The defense has no clue what's coming.
Mhm.
No clue what's coming. Are they going to throw it? Are they going to run it with either three of them? Or I would love to see that, Bryce. That's a great idea.
Hey,
Yeah.
have you guys looked at the Titans schedule? Do you know it? Like,
I know the first couple weeks.
so they start with New York. Easy win, right?
Yep.
Okay, after that, they go to Buffalo.
Monday night.
and then they
with the
host
Bills.
Vegas, and then they go to Indy. Okay, what if they start 1-3 and then they drop the Washington game? It's like an upset, and Tannehill has thrown like 8 picks.
Okay, well, if Tannehill's throwing is
if you
three
start
interceptions,
1-4 and he's thrown 8
if he's
picks,
throwing 2 to 3 interceptions a game, yeah.
Marcus
Then-
Mariota got benched for less.
Yes.
That's what I will say.
But I don't think they go Malik Willis
First.
first.
So you think they
That's
go
what I-
Logan
yeah.
Woodside?
Time out. If Logan Woodside is still on the roster, at like the active roster, which he probably will be, they'll probably keep 3 quarterbacks like they did most of last season. I think it's Logan Woodside over Malik Willis.
Yep.
Okay, but this is the way I look at it, right?
But
So-
then I think
No,
Logan,
so this is like disaster scenario. They're like 1-5, like Jack is talking about. You mean to tell me that if you're just like this season you're probably not going to make the playoffs if you start 1-5 because they still have some tough games later because they're going to have to play the Colts again, all that going down the line. Are you going to try to salvage the season by throwing Logan Woodside in there, or would you rather just throw Malik in there and just be like, let Malik make mistakes, let him be the rookie quarterback that he is, and see what happens?
As it stands, it'll be Woodside.
yeah, I'm listen.
I don't think there's any possible way
But I also don't-
Tannehill could get benched for Woodside.
I
That
also,
would be
but
just
this
stupid.
is the thing.
I don't
though. I don't
think
think
that
we're going to
Tannehill
get
ge-
to that point.
I
But-
agree. I don't think that is a major hypothetical because
I think
read
the
the-
Titans could easily start 1-3.
true, but I don't think after 1-3 they pull Tannehill. I think it's
Okay,
now if he's
That's why I was saying
Now,
you had to get upset by Washington.
Now, if Tannehill is like the reason the Titans are losing games, like constantly fumbling, constantly throwing interceptions, there's no touchdown passes, stuff like that, then yeah, there's a chance. But if they start 1-3 because the offense is stagnant, I mean, just because they're going 3 and out and stuff like that, they're not scoring a lot of points. I don't think Tannehill gets benched after a 1-3 season.
All right, yeah.
Now, if they get to like 1-5, 1-6, 2-7, something like that, then you might see a change where Willis or Woodside are going to come in. And then at that point, it depends how Willis has progressed throughout the season. Because then you're 9 weeks in by 2-7. If they get to that point, you're 9 weeks in. Willis has had to pick up the offense a lot better than he did in his first preseason game.
Yeah.
At that point, then I would say, okay. But I'm with Bryson. I highly doubt that it's going to get to that point.
I'm just trying to spark fun combo. But another combo I want to get into on a Titans rookie is Traylon Burks bad? What's going on?
No.
What did Jamar Chase do in the preseason last year?
Yeah, remember, hold on.
no.
Jamar Chase
He
is
just
not
dropped
going to be
balls in
good because he
practice.
dropped everything. Well, to be
Traylon's
fair,
out there with the third team in the fourth quarter. What is that? That's not encouraging.
I don't think
I think they just wanted him to get reps though,
Exactly.
because he didn't get a lot of targets.
He's
He
supposed
did
to
not get a
start,
lot,
He got maybe one.
but he didn't get a lot of targets.
That's true.
So you just want him on the field.
Yes.
At that point, yeah, you want him running routes. You want him to practice that route tree. You want him to practice the offense. And honestly, putting him in there with a guy like Woodside who knows the offense a lot better than Willis, that's probably more beneficial for Burks. Now, it wasn't beneficial because Woodside couldn't throw it to a Tennessee Titans wide receiver to save his life in that preseason game. He was also playing behind fourth-string offensive linemen, which resulted in a lot of rush throws, a lot of bad throws, and some of the interceptions. But it's the preseason, and as I said at the start of the segment, the preseason doesn't really matter. We've seen a lot of people play bad in the preseason, and then in the offseason, in the offseason practices, we've seen a lot of young guys play really poorly, and they come out and play really good. Jamar Chase is the most recent example I can think of, because what he did last year was incredible, especially after all the rumors coming out. Now, Traylon Burks is dealing with a similar type situation. Oh, Traylon Burks isn't conditioned enough for the NFL. Traylon Burks can't hang with the NFL. His body's not ready, blah, 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 whatever. Traylon Burks is going to be a good wide receiver. He's not going to be A.J. Brown right out of the gate.
Is he wide receiver 1?
No. Oh, no, he's wide receiver 3.
Bobby Trees,
Nick Westbrook-Akina, who apparently I've heard has put on a lot of weight, a lot of muscle weight, and has looked really good. Now
What about Kyle Phillips? Where does he? Is he?
He's gonna be your slot.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be your slot because the Titans don't have a slot guy, and if Kyle Phillips didn't have a great preseason game, but also Malik Willis had a couple bad throws. Kyle Phillips did get tripped on one play. That was a bad throw. It would have been picked off regardless. But he did get tripped, so he didn't get a chance to make a play. I think Kyle Phillips will be your starting slot for the Titans. And if he plays anything like he did, like he looked in practice, I don't know if you guys saw the practice videos of Kyle Phillips.
Over here watching Titans practice videos, going to sleep.
Yep.
Crazy. The real question is, is that better for Kyle Phillips, or does that worry you more about the Titans' defensive backs?
And I think it's okay. You got to think. Christian Fulton is probably your CB1. Caleb Farley is going to be your CB2, but he is coming back off an ACL plus the back injuries, so he's going to take some time in the preseason and in the offseason to get back.
And in today's practices, he looked really good.
And then he also looked really good in the preseason game. He had a couple plays where they hurt him. But Roger McCreary, the Auburn guy that they drafted in the second round, apparently he's looked really, really good.
And don't forget about Elijah Molden coming off. He's getting back just now from an injury.
Yeah,
he's getting back into practices.
Elijah Molden
was great last year.
Great. I mean, I'm pretty sure in some of cornerback categories he was like top 3.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And can't remember exactly what the percentage was. It was like pass breakup percentage or something like that. Like he was really, really, really good in this because he was your slot guy. I think him and Roger McCreary will kind of go back and forth in the slot corner for the Titans. But I think they have a lot of promise on the CBs.
Hey, Racing McMath gonna be a stud, right?
Hey,
I like Racing.
Hey, that route he ran in the preseason when he got open, Malik Willis kind of underthrew him, and that should have been a touchdown. That would have been a touchdown. It would have been. Should have been a touchdown. Malik Willis kind of underthrew him, even though it was a cannon. If he's going to do that,
flew out of his hands, man.
Titans don't have a deep threat guy. Racing McMath.
Yes.
Well, yeah, like you said, Joseph, preseason doesn't matter a whole lot, but it's fun to talk about. Before we go to our next break, I do want to do one more scale. I love doing scales. You'll learn this as a host more often. Scale of 1 to 10. How much does preseason matter? Let's go around.
0.
0.
I'll give it a. What do we?
Oh, wait,
1 to 10.
No, you said 1 to 10. 1.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can say 0. 0
1.5.
whatever.
The half is for the rookies.
I'll say 8.
Okay.
I'll say 8.
Bryson?
I'll say 4.
Okay, what do you mean matter? Like matter?
No.
Because the
you
record
interpret it how you want.
Yeah, I said one number, okay? You had your chance.
The record
said 1.5.
Hold on. I said 1.5.
Not the record. No, how much does
The
preseason matter?
record. This is
my
winning.
thought process.
Nothing.
Record doesn't matter, of course.
Early regular season games are like a 6 or 7. on how much they matter, because they matter a lot more than preseason because it's for your actual record. Late regular season games is when you get to 8 and 9s, and then the playoffs are 25.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to split the difference between Bryce and Riley. I think it's about a 6. You got to get guys some playing time. Preseason does matter, Joseph. Be nice.
Zach Wilson. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, he didn't tear his ACL, thankfully.
But he could
The
have.
Jets are somewhat okay still.
Well, the Jets are stupid for playing him in the preseason anyway.
Which is
starting
why
him.
the preseason is stupid for starters.
I could talk about
For starters, yeah.
Well, I don't know when the next game is, but keep a lookout. NFL Network's got you covered. So, all right. Plug NFL Network. Hey, Kamara and CP were on the top 100. But we got to take our next break. We'll be back on the other side with some MLB talk, and we're going to talk to Bryson about a little something special. So we'll see you later.
WUTK thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pregame and postgame location for UT football and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans football on the big screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the show's live broadcast from 7 to 8 Monday nights at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
90.3 The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department for their support. Season tickets for the 2022 UT Volunteers football season are on sale now. The next phase of Neyland Stadium renovations will be ready for the new season with home games against Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, and more. Info at allvols.com. A link is at WUTKradio.com. 90.3 The Rock wishes Coach Heupel and the football Vols good luck this season on the gridiron.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2022 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smokies Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports will cover Smokies Baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com, and a link is at WUTKRadio.com.
The Rock thanks the Hill Bar and Grill for their support. The Hill on Forest Avenue is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill has a variety of appetizers and a full menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. The Hill is our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor and home of Friday's Rock Solid Sports. On Instagram at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
Hello, I'm Phil Collins. Racism is ignorance, but then so is silence in the face of it. We are all one people with different faces from different places, but we are all one people.
Artists Against Racism. Check us out at artistsagainstracism.org.
The Rock thanks the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. The 2022-23 home ice season from October through April includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets are at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-PUCK. Link is available at WTKRadio.com. And Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, go Ice Bears.
90.3 The Rock proudly brings Knoxville the best in new and classic, independent, and underground music on the Indie Owl. Monday nights from 8 to 10, hosted by former award-winning alumni from the WUTK Music Department and sponsored by Magnolia Records, 1515 North Central Avenue in Knoxville, and the Tomato Head Restaurant on Market Square and in the Gallery Shopping Center. Spinning cutting-edge music from around the world that pushes musical boundaries like noise pop, math rock, slowcore, shoegaze, garage rock, chamber pop, chill wave, and more. The Indie Owl brings you hard-to-find music from the artists that make it to the listeners who love it. The Indie Owl also provides independent artist news and chances to win Tomato Head and Magnolia Records gift cards. Tune in to Knoxville's true independent radio. The Indie Owl, Monday nights at 8, only on 90.3 The Rock, always bringing Knoxville new music first.
All right, peeps. We're here for segment 3 of Rock Solid Sports on this great Monday night. Sponsored by Fieldhouse Social.
2525 University Commons Way.
All right. Yeah, we got 3 minutes here. We're saying the Addy. Like, people can't. Google exists. I don't know if y'all know.
And
But,
Apple
hey,
Maps.
I'm actually going to toss to you, just so I can't be too mean to you. What's going on with the Braves?
Okay, the Atlanta Braves, who are 5.5 games out of the first place in the National League East, are heading into a 4-game series with the Mets, who are in first place. And with a month or 2 months of the season, month and a half left in this season, this is a big series. The Braves need to catch them up with the Mets here, take at least 2 games out of this series. I think the Mets magic number is down to 25, I believe. 25 games for either them to win or the Braves to lose before they win the division. So it's going to come down to that final 2 weeks of the season when the Braves and the Mets meet again, the second to last week.
And that guy who played for the Smokies that you watched play and then got called up.
Oh, Vaughn Grissom. Oh, my gosh. Okay.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay. Vaughn Grissom played for the Smokies the other night. I was at the game, watched him play for my internship at the Smokies. Literally got called up the next day, went to Fenway in his first game in Fenway Park with the Atlanta Braves, his first game in the majors. His first hit, a home run over the Green Monster. 24 hours from him watching him hit go 3 for 4 with 2 stolen bases and a run scored. I get to watch him on TV hitting a home run a 2-run home run over the Green Monster.
That's awesome. For your favorite team too. That's so
absolutely
sick. Yeah, awesome. Wonderful story. And another wonderful story here on Rock Solid. Bryson, what's the Christmas schedule looking like, and who influenced this?
Okay, yeah. So the Memphis Grizzlies are getting. Yeah, I know.
Let them go.
Hey, let me go. Thank you. So the Memphis Grizzlies got their first ever Christmas Day game after I tweeted that it should happen, and Ja Morant and Draymond Green responded. So Christmas schedule is going to be really interesting this year, especially because the NBA is going to be competing with the NFL for the first time ever. But the official games are the Memphis Grizzlies are going to play the Golden State Warriors. We got Mavericks versus Lakers, Nuggets versus Suns, the 76ers versus the New York Knicks. We'll talk about that one. And then Celtics Bucks, which is another good game. So the ones out of these, obviously, I'm most excited about Grizzlies Warriors. Celtics Bucks is going to be awesome. Yeah, obviously.
He scheduled that game.
Yeah, I scheduled it. I talked to Adam Silver right on the phone.
He calls the Draymond and Ja beef that got this scheduled.
And then Celtics Bucks is going to be exciting. Obviously, they had a really good series last year. And then Mavericks Lakers, we got the greatest of the past generation versus the person who's looking like they could be the greatest of the next generation with Luka. That's right. So we got LeBron versus Luka on Christmas Day. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a fun slate. And we want to congratulate Bryson for starting all that and becoming so popular amongst Grizzlies Twitter. You're just awesome, Bryson. We love you. The Bryson Bump. Bryson Bump.
It's our weekly Bryson Bump.
Weekly Bryson Bump. And that's what we're going to end the show with, everybody. Be sure and tune back into Rock Solid Sports on Friday, right? Yeah, we'll start back Wednesday shows next week. So come at us Friday, sponsored by The Hill. That will be the Friday show. Everybody, we'll see you later. Stick around for Indie Isle and have a great rest of your Monday night.
See ya.